Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is Inside Fitness Radio presents Total Fitness Podcast. My name is Matthew.
I'm Walter.
And we finally have it. We have the confession from the man, the king himself, Liver King. So he posted a 6-minute and something video, 6.5 minute video yesterday night. And here it is. He basically just apologized. Kinda. It's interesting. We're not going to show the whole thing, but here you go.
I'm making this video to apologize. Because I fucked up. Because I'm embarrassed and ashamed. Because I lied. And I misled a lot of people. I've stated that this is a complicated as fuck topic, at least to me it is, because before social media, I was rich and anonymous. And after social media, I'm still rich, but no longer anonymous. And I never expected this kind of exposure.
That part really was funny to me. He's like, I never expected this kind of exposure because that's what he was trying to do. Like this whole thing was to get over 1 million subscribers or 100 million followers. But I really like that. Before I was rich and now I'm still rich, but more rich. Yeah. I'm like, I'm curious as what he was doing beforehand. Like, that's what I really wanted to know. I know he had his supplement lines and all that, but like you need a lot of money to start a supplement line. So I'm curious as to what he was doing. But anyways, continue.
The public eye. It's been tricky as fuck to navigate. Well,
you can't stop swearing.
Clearly, I did it wrong. And I'm here now to set the record straight. Yes, I've done steroids. And yes, I am on steroids, monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician. Liver King, the public figure, was an experiment to spread the message, to bring awareness to the 4,000 people a day who kill themselves. The 80,000 people a day that try to kill themselves. Our people are hurting at record rates with depression, autoimmune, anxiety, infertility, low ambition in life.
So his whole reason, or this whole apology, which, let's be honest, if he wasn't caught, would he be sorry? That's always the thing. I'm sorry that I got caught, kind of thing. And now I'm going to have to apologize, and because I misled you guys to a certain extent, right? His whole apology is centered around, or why he created this character and why he's doing what he's doing is because he's trying to prove that, you can live a better life and not be depressed or commit suicide. Like, that's what he's trying to say.
But it's based on a lie.
To a certain extent.
Right. Yes, I agree. A healthier life can help you with all those things, barring real issues in terms of hormonal issues or whatever. I mean, there are genetic dispositions towards depression and other things as well. If it's not those things, then yes, the gym can help you. And even to a certain extent, the gym can help you if it is those things. But to say, I did all this in order to help you is a bit disingenuous for me.
I took $12,000 of HGH a month so I can help you. Yes, you, Walter.
Yes. Yes. I have no words. I have no words. Keep going.
I will say I understand where he is coming from, because if this was, and I do truly think he is being serious here, like this is obviously part of the reason why he created this character, because he's talked about it so many times. There's no doubt about that. Like, he is genuine in what he tries to promote, and I will give him that. I do understand to a certain extent that he probably feels that to get to the point of this full exposure, which, let's be honest, he knew he was going to get and he was wanting to get, that was a total BS lie right at the start. He was saying that I didn't want any of this, or I didn't know I was going to have any of this. Excuse me. You have to look a certain way. You have to do very outlandish things. You have to be controversial. And if that is, hey, I'm natural on every single podcast he's on, when clearly everybody knew, like nobody. And if you didn't think this guy was if you thought this guy was natural, you really need to do some more homework. Right. And I think,
well, you saw that other thing that I sent you the other day.
Yeah.
About the guy with the injections.
Yes.
And then the kid thinks he's natural.
And people
are really uneducated. We'll put it that way.
Well, it's the same. SARMs are natural, TRT is natural. When we did that natty or not, it's like, I'm natural now. No, if you took steroids, you took steroids. Sure, yes, you are natural now, but you still took steroids in the past, which, again, let's be honest, depending on how long you took them for, even if it was just one cycle, you're going to have probably the effect of that still on your body if you're smart with how you cycled off and everything you were doing after that, right?
Exactly.
He was doing this for a certain reason. I do understand that. So I will give the guy credit because he did actually promote a decent message. Yes, the diet, the utility of his diet was decent, and a hormonal balance, medical, whatever you want to call it, was a little crazy for me. Yes. Is his image a little fringe for me? Yes. I still do agree with what he did promote in terms of be a better person, have more confidence, eat better, sleep better, move more, right?
Absolutely. I agree with all that. I just think it puts an impossible standard in front of people if you're going to say that you're natty.
That beard though, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, mine can look the same. Just give me another 4 months.
Our young men are hurting the most, feeling lost, weak, and submissive. So I made it my job to model, teach, and preach a simple, elegant solution called ancestral.
That is where I have the issue.
Submissive?
Yeah. This is where I have the issue, is that statement right there with the whole depression thing. He was like, I have to model to show younger men or men in general how to be more confident, how to be more masculine, not in a toxic way, but just more masculine and confident in their own selves. Because let's be honest, I mean, there is definitely, with how much we're sitting on our phones lately, how much we just stay inside, we're not moving as much, we're not doing certain things, we're not teaching ourselves, we're not reading books anymore, right? On a larger scale, right? Obviously,
yes.
Individually, sure, but he says I was trying to model a certain way of life, and it's like, well, yeah, but if you are BSing the natural statement and you look like this and you're trying to model, do this, look like me, do this, be me, you're not modeling a healthy outcome or a healthy image of what these guys could be. If you told them from the start, look, this is what I do, I don't recommend it, this is what I do, but all the other stuff I do truly recommend.
Yeah.
I would you probably wouldn't have gotten as popular. Maybe you would have. Maybe he would have actually had more respect from the community. But would he have gotten as many views and as much controversy?
No, he wouldn't have got, if he didn't look like that and if he wasn't doing the things he's doing, he wouldn't have gotten the amount of attention that he got, and he wouldn't be able to sell as much.
Yeah.
And this is on par with getting a whole bunch of plastic surgery done to your face so that you can sell more face cream to show how young it keeps you.
Yeah. Or better yet, getting some teenage boy or girl to be like, look at this skincare we're using.
I'm 50. Look at me.
Shall we continue?
And that's been done.
Oh yeah. But you got to sell.
Yeah.
Living, the 9 ancestral tenets, so our people no longer have to suffer, so we can collectively express our highest and most dominant form. This is my fight. This is why I exist. While spreading the message, I've been on several podcasts, and when asked if I'd ever taken steroids, I've always said no. I don't touch this stuff, not gonna touch this stuff, never touch this stuff. That was a lie.
Gee, no kidding.
I've convinced myself that this had nothing to do with the ancestral message. I convinced myself that I'm not a competitive athlete of any kind, so who the fuck am I cheating? I convinced myself that this topic was a placeholder for a far more important conversation. I convinced myself that this would overshadow the 36 years of working out, usually twice a day, without PEDs.
Two things out of that. I kind of agree with the whole point. He's not competing aside from trying to sell a product. That's the big issue there. But he isn't competing. And let's be honest, PEDs, there's tons of scandal because people don't know enough about them. Do I recommend them to anybody? Absolutely not. Do I recommend TRT to somebody with very low testosterone, symptoms of low T? Yeah, probably, because it could drastically improve their life from a hormonal doctor.
Well, yeah, from a doctor.
From a doctor, not from Joe Schmo down the street who's
Yeah.
selling it out of his apartment building or gym bag and locker,
Yeah.
right? But again, he was competing with a market to sell his product. So, you know what it is.
It's false advertising.
It is false advertising, but I do, and this is the thing, man. Being in the industry for so long, like we know how hard it is to gain muscle, to lose weight, to be an athlete, to do what you need to do. Yeah, if he told to the average person who doesn't know enough, which is pretty much his whole viewer base, like the real viewer base, like again, we're not watching this guy on a regular basis. They would be overshadowed 100%. He was working out 36 years without any PEDs, he was saying.
Sometimes twice a day.
And
often twice a day.
Often twice a day, which is why he probably didn't make as many gains, which we've already gone over. So watch our last video if you want a more in-depth conversation about that. But the guy, let's be honest, if he had said, yeah, I'm on steroids, and he looks like this, people would be like, well, yeah, you look like that because you're on steroids.
Yeah.
Look at the guy's schedule, man. The guy works out like, yeah, it's not the most effective thing to do for his goals, working out twice a day the way he does with lack of sleep, and realistically not the best utilized diet because he does some things that maybe we don't necessarily agree with, but the guy's nuts. Like the guy trains hard. He has been doing this since he was 11, he said, or something like that. Like, give credit where credit is due.
I can't discount that. I can't discount the work ethic, although I think it's a little misguided in terms of the training.
Yeah.
I do wonder how effective he actually is in all these business meetings in between. I would be yawning all the time if I was working that hard.
We already are yawning all the time.
Yeah. So I don't know. He worked hard. He cheated, but he still had to work hard. It's not synth. You don't just put it in your body and get bigger.
Is it cheating?
You still have to work.
That's the thing, though. Is it cheating?
Yes.
In which way? That's where I'm trying to figure.
It is using a secondary method to improve your chances, which is very often illegal, untried, bought off the street with no safeguards.
Yeah.
And whether you kind of cheating or not, and I'm as guilty, but whether you call it cheating or not, it is still putting your own life in somebody else's hands. It's really not healthy.
Yeah, and he obviously went to the extreme with it, and
such an extreme.
Yeah, for even again his goals.
He wasn't doing a little bit of test.
No.
You know?
He was doing 10 to 15 IUs of GH and many other things.
Yes.
And you're right. Yeah, like you could say, he said I had a hormonal doctor is prescribed. What doctor prescribes DECA to a client? Or MK6777? Or
well, unless they're
the
same doctor that tells certain orange ex-presidents that they're fabulous physical condition.
Hey, I mean, this is America. If you got enough money, I'm sure you could probably buy what you need to buy from a shady doctor.
You can buy a doctor.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, let's continue.
I've convinced myself that this was the vocal minority, usually in the fitness category, driving to an unproductive conversation. And I had convinced myself that this would be the wrong message to send to the 15-year-old boys.
Yes.
So I continually dismissed it, and I dug myself into a bigger and deeper hole. I have only myself to blame. I did that.
I really do agree with him, because here's the thing. all these guys that come out and say, hey, I'm on steroids, they typically say, I'm on steroids. This is what I take. Don't do it, kids or men
And
or
kids go,
anybody.
why not?
They don't care. Let's be honest. Anybody who is like, Liver King is my goal physique, or Larry Wheels, or Noel, or Chris Bumstead, or whoever, Mr. Olympia, I want to look like that. They come out and they're like, we're on steroids. Great. I should do steroids. Also, guys, don't do this because it's not good for you. We
But
don't
you're
see
doing
any,
it.
but you're doing it. And honestly, it looks like there's nothing wrong. You say you're healthy with your blood work and you do it safely, so I should do it.
Except for the small percentage that die.
Yeah, but come on, that's not going to be me,
No,
right?
it never is.
It never is. And that's where it starts. And it starts too young these days. There was like 14 to 15 to 16-year-olds on SARMs now.
Yeah.
And they're saying, like, and now there's this whole trend of like, oh, you're just on SARMs at 15? Come on, man. Get that real shit. It's like, no, you are 15 going through puberty. You already have the real shit going on inside your testicles, man. Like, chill the
Yeah,
fuck out.
yeah. You don't need the help right now.
No. And realistically, you could probably go your whole life without it until a certain age. And let's be real. You get to a certain age, if you notice low symptoms and you truly have been doing everything as optimally as you can, then yeah, go for it. I'm all for it.
Mm.
If you are doing it for like, and your life is truly, you want to be a bodybuilder, which again, I don't recommend. If that's all you got going for you, you're going to have a hard time in life unless you are the genetic 1%. But even those guys, they have other business ventures.
Yeah.
Then sure, maybe go for it. But anybody else, they don't need it. Unless you have low T, unless you have a very specific reason, you shouldn't do it unless you really dive into what you understand you are putting in your body, as well as what the effect could be, how it can shorten your life, all the side effects, all the health issues, everything that you're doing. And then you should also have your a doctor at least on your side to be like, this is how you should be doing it. Let's get blood work every 3 to 4 months. Let's make sure you're safe as you can be and go from there.
Makes total sense to
So
us.
does
it make total sense to a 14-year-old, 15-year-old?
They don't care. We're invincible. Right?
And it was all wrong. I will be better. I will talk about it openly because I believe that there's a time and a place for pharmacological intervention monitored and managed by a trained hormone physician. In 2021, when I was 43 years old, I didn't feel 100% physically or cognitively. So I went to get monitored and managed by a trained hormone clinician to see what the fuck was going on with my life. And so yes, it's true. I have tried several peptide combinations in an effort to increase my growth hormone, and it didn't work, meaning that my levels still remained below the normal level. So yes, it's also true that I've tried pharmaceutical grade growth hormone, and I finally found success in managing therapeutic levels in the normal range. Yes, this is true. I've continued on with 0.6 cc's of testosterone per week, roughly 120 milligrams of testosterone.
That's TRT. I have no issue with that whatsoever.
A week. And no, I don't take any other steroids like Nandrolone or Winstrol, but I have tried them in the past without success. Yes, it's also true that my blood chemistry got all fucked up while taking Nandrolone and Winstrol. My lipids got all deranged, my liver enzymes went sky high, which is why clinical oversight is an absolute must. Nope. The Liver King brand has had nothing, or at least very little, to do with my business success. My companies were already kicking ass, already successful before the Liver King public figure, growing at 50% year over year and still growing at the same pace after the Liver King public figure. Nope, I've never had ab implants, ab etching, or any other plastic surgery, and I sure as fuck never actually had gene editing done in Singapore. I made all of that up. It was all intended to be a joke, and that's an expression of ancestral tin and tin. Have a little goddamn fun. Ultimately, why did I or why do I do them?
Again, I have no issue with the TRT. Like
No.
120 milligrams or so a week, like that's putting him just the, maybe the higher end of a natural testosterone level, probably around 900 NGL or something like that. Maybe even actually a little bit less, who knows, right? Depends how well he responds and hormonally how he responds.
that's
I
it.
never saw his actual test
And
levels.
what his baseline is.
Yeah, exactly. Now, he felt like shit beforehand. Could that have been because of the overtraining, the lack of sleep, his stress levels from? And again, if he's being honest in the fact that his growth was 50% year after year and since the Liver King, then honestly, yeah, I don't have necessarily as big of an issue as it anymore. Do I think he's telling the truth there? Not really, because he blew up to over 1.5 million followers. You're going to have that much more of an audience to be able to sell your product to now.
Exactly. That's all right there on the website.
Yeah. Let's finish this off.
When I talk about the 85% of the population that suffers from self-esteem issues, that's me. I'm part of that statistic. This is why I fucking work myself to death in the gym. This is why I do 12 to 15 blood-burning workouts a week, just to feel like I'm okay. Still, I have to absolutely crush myself to do so, and I'm wrecked physically and cognitively, and hormone replacement has helped in a profound and significant way. And still,
Do you think there could have been some other therapy that could have been better for him instead of hormonal therapy?
Yeah, probably.
I totally get it. I have had horrible self-esteem issues. I still suffer from them once in a while. I went to therapy for 2.5, 3 years for body dysmorphia. That was the whole reason. My depression, my anxiety, my suicidal thoughts, and attempts mostly centered around my body image issues.
Mm-hmm.
Or they were greatly exacerbated. So I understand what he's saying there. But I recognize that nothing was really going to change no matter how I physically looked. Even if I got to the point of a Chris Bumstead, it's all up here.
I speak about Chris Bumstead. He doesn't look in the mirror occasionally and go, "This isn't good enough."
He's made videos about
Shit,
it.
how much am I going to work? How much more do I have to do to get where I want to be? And then take some time off and things start to fall back. So it's a never-ending story. But is it a reason to not seek any other kind of help at the same time?
No. He should have been seeking that help. Plus, he should have been really assessing. And if he had this hormonal doctor, the doctor should have been like, hey, dude, I'm in your corner. Chill out on the workouts. Get some better sleep. Let's figure out some more viable ways how you can improve other aspects of your life so you don't necessarily have to resort to this much.
Yeah.
I believe that the path to paradise is paved in fucking hell. I previously have said in a weird way, I'm grateful for the recent events that have shed light on this complicated as fuck topic. I knew I needed to take this opportunity to openly discuss everything for me to be a better human. If there are any questions that remain unanswered, send them my way. I fully own that I fucked up. I am as sorry as a man can be. And all I can do is take extreme ownership right now, be better, and lead myself to a better life as a better human. Again, thank you to everyone for the support, the criticism, the love, the hate, and above all else, the loyalty. Liver King. Out.
I mean, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I'm curious to see where he goes from here.
Well, I mean, he's going to try and parlay it into growth and into showing that he can change.
That was a
You
good
know,
pun.
and as we said the other night, was this part of a greater plan? We don't
Yeah.
know. You know, he looked uh, real in terms of the apology. Um, and he also looked like someone, I hate to say it, he came across as someone who would be really hard for the doctor to convince not to do what he wanted to do if he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
You know, stubborn as fuck. You know, so hopefully he's learned some lessons and he's gonna be the better man that he talked about. I hope so.
I think he will. And I'm excited to see where he brings this because he is a smart man.
Yeah.
I hope he drops some of the, I know it does appear that this is the way the guy is. I hope he drops a little bit of it and just chills out a little bit. Like Liver King's still Liver King. I get it. But like, let's sit down. Let's have a conversation in a first person instead of a third person world.
Well, how much is character development?
Yeah.
Character work as an actor, you know,
Right.
and how much is actually him?
Well, even in that video, I mean, him doing a 6-minute video and barely seeing his eyes go across the screen. Like you saw it a couple times. He's obviously reading a script, but he's good at what he does. He's a good marketing genius. He's a good businessman. Yeah, he messed up with this, and I'm not saying like he doesn't deserve the hate that he's going to get. I just think people need to cut him some slack now that it's out. He needs to, the only way that it's that redemption story, he needs to be able to be like, look, guys, you know, this is why I do it, and just continue to talk about certain things and not try to bullshit people anymore. Like that's a big bullshit. This is a big lie. Obviously, we all knew that it wasn't true. Like we all knew it was a lie, but nonetheless, this small amount of people who probably thought he was natural, actually probably a very large amount of people, because let's be real, not many people know any better. You know, that's where it affects, and we need to have this conversation a little bit more open in terms of just like more honesty in the industry.
Absolutely. Across the board.
You know, at the end of the day, you're not a saint if you stay natural. You're not better than somebody if you are a natural athlete, a natural competitor, or just a natural man or woman. Because remember, guys, women do this shit too, and more than you think, right? It's not like you're not perfect if you decide to, you're not on that pedestal. So let's not necessarily tear down people. And this is the reason why nobody wants to admit it, because it is taboo. People shouldn't necessarily be doing it. And I totally get that. But like at the same time, we do have to open up this conversation to say, like, look, they're doing it for their reasons. That is their own choice. Just like Roe v. Wade. You know, if we're going to talk about choice and all this other shit, let's relate it to the real world. Right? You have your body. You get to, if you want to put alcohol in it, if you want to put cocaine in it, if you want to put heroin in it, or you want to put steroids in it, that's technically your choice. Is it the best thing for you? No, absolutely not. Across the board, no.
But it is your choice.
But it is your choice.
Yeah.
Now, promoting that to other people, not one of these guys has ever promoted it to kids or to other people. They say against it, but it's the same thing as that peer pressure. Hey, man, try this weed. It's legal now. I don't want to. Try it.
Yeah, it's legal.
It's
Why
fine.
don't you? Yeah.
It's fine. Okay. Smoke. Do some marijuana. Jesus Christ. Sound like my dad. Smoke some marijuana. Right? And it's like, it's the same. You're at a party. You're at like I DJ, you know, raves and stuff like that. It's like there's Molly, there's Coke, there's MDMA, there's all this other shit. It's totally normal to see people just doing that in the bathrooms or on the floor. Or they, better yet, they have their little glass jar right around their necklace and they, you know.
Yeah, the 80s existed. What?
That's true. You know, at the end of the day, it's like people are going to do what they want to do. People will experiment because that is the human condition. We are a curious creature.
Yeah.
So, no, honestly, I don't trash the guy too much for what he's been doing. He's a little fringe. He's owned up to it. I just want to see him pivot. and make
Yeah.
a bigger change and a
I'm
bigger
looking
difference.
forward to seeing how he pivots and how he gets through this, because I think he could turn around and turn into something really amazing, right?
Yeah.
Let's give him the chance.
Let's hope he doesn't just turn around and start selling peptides or SARMs to kids.
Yeah.
Look like Liver King. Anyways, that's all I got for today.
All right, me too.
Anyways, guys, as always, you know where to find us. Any questions, comments, let us know, and we will see you
Please.
next time.
Yeah.
Take care. Stay safe.
Stay breezy.